Welcome back to the show. Don Carpenter here with you. And in studio, we have three guys that are probably could kick my ass in less than 10 seconds each. We have Tremaine. Okay, I want to get these. I got the prep sheet here. Tremaine Apley and Johnny Bublich and Drew Weinmeister. Okay, I got them all right. Welcome, guys. And we're talking to fighters from Ringwars. It's tomorrow night at the Camplex. And welcome, guys, to the studio. Thanks for coming in and talking to us a little bit. I've never gotten a chance to interview MMA fighters, so it's really cool to have you guys here. So, and I want to be here. Yeah, I want to warn you for this mic, you got to be really close to it. So you just just get your lips right up there. Yeah. Yeah, don't be afraid of it. It does.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, there we go.
Good.
So I guess I want to start off. I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about how you got involved in mixed martial arts. I guess we'll start with you, Tremaine. We'll go right to left. So tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Well, I started watching UFC in 2006. Did a little wrestling in high school, a little bit of Kempo when I was younger, and just kind of, was watching the show one day and was like, man, I'd really like to do that. Ended up meeting a couple guys in 2009 that trained MMA and had a little bit of a gym and went and hung out with them and did some training. Got into it from there.
Yeah, and we were actually talking about this a little bit off the air, but it seems like wrestling and jiu-jitsu are the two big disciplines right now with MMA. I mean, has your wrestling background, has that really helped you a lot with it?
It has helped me transition with jiu-jitsu and be a good defensive fighter as well. It's helped me quite a bit. Yeah,
and so I guess then your specialty is wrestling, and jiu-jitsu is just like what you fall back on. Or I mean, first off, what weight class are you in?
I fight 155.
155. Okay, so it's. I guess jiu-jitsu in that weight class is still, that's the main thing you'd want to know, right?
Well, I'm more of a stand-up fighter, but I train jiu-jitsu and wrestling as well, just to have. You do have guys that will take you down and have good jiu-jitsu, so you need to know those things, but I prefer to stand and kickbox.
Oh, okay. So you're more of a striker then?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I'm not going to ask you to punch me in the arm or anything. Maybe one of the other guys. So you're more of a striker, and who are you fighting tomorrow night?
I'm fighting Jon Stewart.
John, that should be a short fight. No, but obviously a different Jon Stewart. Although I think most of our audience might.
No more Daily Show.
Yeah. I think most of our audience would probably rather see you fight the other Jon Stewart.
That'd be fun.
Oh yeah,
get a little exposure.
Yeah, there you go. Make a viral video out of it.
Yes, sir.
And we'll get back to you in just a second. So Johnny, how did you get started? And what are your disciplines?
Well, I've been a boxing fan my entire life. I grew up watching boxing, and in 2007, I saw a sign hanging on a wall. It said, offering cash prizes to box, and thought it'd be a good idea to make a little extra money and started trying it out. And then I just kind of got hooked from there, and I started out pretty good, and then I started training. I just went from there, so I've been fighting steadily, almost, monthly or every other month since 2007. And like tomorrow night will be my 59th fight total in my career.
Oh, wow.
And I just keep progressing, keep getting better, and I've really just went from there, just as a way I was good at making money, and I enjoy doing it as well.
So I guess you're more of a striker then as well.
Yeah, I do jiu-jitsu on the daily. I train with Will Grundhauser and Grindhouse in Billings, Montana, and Team Hall Jiu-Jitsu, Sheridan, Wyoming. But yeah, mainly I always want to box. I always work my takedown defense too. I don't want to fight on the ground, but
you have to.
I got a blue belt under Glenn Hall. I know what I'm doing on the ground, so I'm perfectly comfortable. I would just rather stand and punch people in the face.
But and a lot of people find that's more exciting as well. I mean, and that's one of the complaints I've heard from a lot of people that maybe watched UFC in the early days when it was all kinds of just crazy stuff going on. There were hardly any rules. A lot of people watch it these days and say, well, they're always on the ground and they're wrestling around, or they're jiu-jitsu and trying to get arm bars and that kind of stuff. And people don't find that as exciting as I find it exciting because I like the chess game part of it. But a lot of people want to see just guys beating each other in the face.
Yeah. No, I think they're both equally as exciting. Like, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments. Actually, I was the 2012 Big Sky State Games heavyweight Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion. And I love the ground. I love fighting on the ground. Just when it comes to the actual fight, I just find it really exciting to hit someone until they go to sleep. and I don't mind getting hit. And so if that's what it takes, to be able to hit people, is take a couple, I'm in all day.
Hey, see, and that's the attitude you got to have. I mean, you got to be willing to take a few if you want to dish a few out.
Yeah, it gives you character. Get a different nose every once in a while.
Right.
A new scar shows up on the face. It's all good.
Yeah, and I will say the crowd loves it.
Yeah.
I remember. I guess it was a couple years ago when Brock got knocked out.
Yeah,
man, that was one of the most shocking things. Well, even a couple weeks ago with Anderson getting knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, he just dropped his hands for a second and it was over.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things a lot of people. He was a guy that hadn't lost in 6 years, 7 years,
time.
And he's considered the best fighter in the world, and this guy didn't have a chance. And 1 second is all it takes.
1 second, yeah, and that's a lot of times, when it comes down to knockouts, is just all timing, catching the guy. But
yeah, but you always have to be ready for it.
Always, yeah.
And that's the great thing about the sport, is anything can happen at any time.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. You never know what's going to happen.
So I guess, and we'll talk to you again in a second, but I want to talk to Drew a little bit. And this is actually your last fight.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about your history with the sport.
Oh, well, about 2002 is when I really got into it. Went down to Denver for work and got hooked up with the Rocky Mountain Bad Boys, and I started to learn Russian Sombo. And Russian Sombo is like basically what they took Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and mixed it together with to make Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So it's kind of the roots. It's really sloppy looking, but it's very effective. And I learned Muay Thai, did some sparring with Nate the Great Marquardt, and just went from there.
So, are there a lot of guys that do Sambo still? I know Fedor was like the big Sambo guy, but are there still a lot of people that do that? It's like the traditional Russian martial art.
Right. It's just not as popular because people like to see like Anderson Silva, and they're like, oh, he does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so I want to get into that.
Right.
And that's usually what ends up happening. Sambo is one of those things that's under the table, just like catch wrestling. You hardly ever hear anything about catch wrestling.
But if you can do it right, it's just as effective.
Yes. It's very effective, especially if someone's used to doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and they think, because a lot of the setups are about the same, but then it goes like you get completely turned around because it's something completely different when you throw something else on them. Yeah,
that's a part of the sport that just I've always found exciting. We're actually up against the next break. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back and we'll finish up. I want to talk a little bit about the fights going on tomorrow night over at the Camplex for Ringwars. So we'll talk about that when we come back. And also, we'll give away a pair of tickets when we come back as well. News Talk 1270, KIML, Don Carpenter Show. We'll be right back.
From Washington to Cheyenne to right here in Gillette, Don Carpenter on News Talk 1270, KIML.
News Talk 1270, KIML, Don Carpenter Show. 8:50 here at the studios. And if you're just joining us, we're talking with Tremaine Apley, Johnny Bublich, and Drew Weinmeister from, they're going to be fighting at Ringwars tomorrow night at the Camplex. And I wish we could have left the mics open during the break, but I think the FCC might have gotten on our case for a little bit about it. I forgot to talk. I asked Tremaine about your opponent. You're going to be beating up the Daily Show host tomorrow. But, Johnny, who are you going to be fighting tomorrow night?
I'm I'm fighting the main event tomorrow night.
Oh, you're the main event. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
Against Brad Klepper. What's his name?
Brad Grilk.
Brad Grilk, yeah. He's the 155-pound champion as of right now. So I'll be fighting him tomorrow night, and it's going to be fun. And I know he's tough, but I got one plan tomorrow. Is take his belt, dethrone a champion.
So I guess, and how are you going to do that? You going to knock him out?
I'm going to knock Brad out tomorrow, yeah. And I don't discredit him at all. I know Brad's tough. He has a great kickboxing coach. I believe his kickboxing coach is a world champion. I give him full credit, but I've trained really hard for this fight. I'm going to go in and I'm going to stop Brad.
See, and that's the kind of attitude and a lot of people kind of mistake that, but that's the kind of attitude you need going into a fight, really, isn't it?
You do. And like some people, don't 100% understand that, they think you're talking smack about him or something, but it's not. It's, what you live your life to do. I've trained every single day for the last 8 weeks for this fight and had a perfect diet and did everything I need to be ready for Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, and just to show the kind of dedication, I mean, I offered you guys water when you came in the studio, and nobody even took the water. You got to make weight.
Yeah, I'm almost there. I woke up this morning at 156 pounds. I train with real great guys who push me and help me out a lot. And my coach, Will Hauser, best fighter in the world, he takes care of me as far as what to do for my cutting. And I had a really easy cut. I haven't had to stress my body at all. And I'm down, like I said, to 156 right now. By the time I get to weigh-ins tonight, I'll be 154.5 to 155.
Yeah, and so I mean, you're not going to be doing any kind of crazy cutting stuff.
No,
after.
I quit working out yesterday at 4:00 in the afternoon. Called it good. I got myself. I was like to 157.5. I decided that's enough, so I went home. I spent some time away from home to train in Billings, and so I went home, sat in the air conditioning with my family, and hung out. And now I'm just enjoying the rest of my time until I fight, because I don't need to train anymore.
Yeah, so you're all ready. You just need to get in the ring and do your thing.
Yep, it's just down to patience now and enjoying my time before I get to go and eat and relax some more until the fight.
Yes, and once you weigh in, you can kind of load up on carbs and all that stuff for the energy as well.
Yep. Oh yeah. And I'll get right back to my normal diet. A lot of people like to crash eat and everything, but I just kind of get back to what I was eating, and just keep my body to where it's at. I don't want to overload,
Oh yeah, yeah. And I've heard stories about guys that do that. They'll go and eat cake and ice cream and all kinds of bad foods, and then they get kind of sluggish because of the sugar.
Yeah, I take the best supplements in the world, and I have a very clean diet. I do the paleo diet. I eat raw and natural foods, and so I try to stick to that all the time.
Yeah, it seems like it's working out for you. And Drew, tell us a little bit about your fight then.
I'm going to be fighting Riley Hudson Osborne, something like that. He's from South Dakota. He's fighting out of Rapid. I don't know a whole lot about him. I know he likes to tan. I know he hasn't really been preparing for the fight.
You look good though, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. Plan to change that for him. I want to do a little bit of stand up with him, but I'm not much of a stand up guy with my short little arms.
Well, you just got to get in there closer.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm excellent on the ground, and that's where I'm hoping it ends up, because he's not going to have a hope if it goes down to the ground.
Well, Sombo training, that's your specialty then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, we're almost out of time. I'll open up the lines. We're going to give away a pair of tickets for Ringwars tomorrow night. We're also going to have some on Steve's store if you don't win. We'll take the first caller at 682-1270. 682-1270. And Drew, I also understand that your wife is the one to contact if anybody's interested in a ringside table.
Yeah, they can call 660-8546 and ask for Leah, and she's got all kinds of tickets. They're still on sale now. They'll go up in price tomorrow, and then at the door you're going to be paying $30 at the door. So might as well get them in advance.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we actually sold the table on Steve's store from last week, so we don't have a table. So give Drew's wife a call if you want a table. If you want tickets, we'll have a bunch of them on Steve's store, and our lines are full. Let's take the very first one that came in. News Talk 1270 KIML. Who do we have here?
This is Robin.
Robin, okay, you want the tickets for tomorrow night?
Nice, sure.
Okay, they're yours. That's all you got to do to win. Just hang on hold. I'll get you during the break. I want to thank the guys from Ringwars for coming in. I will be out there ringside tomorrow night watching you guys. So
Steve's store.
Go out there and kick ass. And Steve's store, if you didn't win tickets, we have a bunch of tickets. We have a bunch of tickets left. So make sure you stay tuned for Steve's store. News Talk 1270 KIML, Don Carpenter Show. We'll see you in just a few.
For the latest on the show, follow Don on Facebook. Just search for Don Carpenter Radio. News Talk 1270 KIML.